Perfect Order is losing to Ascendant Heroes, One Piece is flashing out weak speculative hands, MTG Strixhaven pre-order prices are absolutely insane, and Riftbound has a card that sold for $100,000. All of this and more today. Pokémon Perfect Order, a pretty disappointing product for investors, with volumes being pretty low and the price ever declining. Now that's contrary to a different product, Ascendant Heroes, where Elite Trainer boxes have hit €120 and the equivalent $140 on TCG Player, looking as a global trend basically for the product. Now, it seems that investors prefer this particular product because of its chasey nature and the fact that the reprinting capabilities of the Pokemon Company are greatly diminished because of the 30th anniversary coming. Now, if you look at the price of Ascendant Heroes, yes, it's going up, but you could make some kind of direct comparison to Prismatic Evolutions at a similar stage. And it seems that Prismatic Evolutions couldn't achieve the same prices that Ascendant Hero is now achieving comparative to the time frame. Now, admittedly, long-term Prismatic Evolutions have shown a gradual and ever increasing the price, and now standing at a very hefty $160, $170 at TCG Player, which might just indicate a further trend for Ascendant Heroes, which might increase in the price even more by another 10, 15 to 20% over time. One Piece and EBO3 boxes have dropped below €200, which seems to be an indicator of flashing out weak speculative investor hands and be more in line with organic demand. Now, behavioral economics at play, with the announcement of reprints, without a single reprint hitting the shelves just yet, we have seen a drop in prices. And this might seem that we're going away from this hype-driven, scalper flip culture into more organic demand, long-term retention type of phase. Now, with EBO3 going below €200, this might be a better moment for actual players to buy into this product, at least before the actual reprints come into the market. But if you compare it to some other older products, like Two Legends, it seems that long-term, the product, with again organic demand and proper retention and value, will be creeping up in price and holding its value rather than crashing suddenly. And so I think for long-term stability and health for the game, this is not a bad sign that the prices of EBO3 dipped below €200. On the contrary, this is a moment to show that there is some correction between players and organic demand and speculators, but overall it's rather a healthy moment to maybe consider getting into it. MTG Secrets of Strixhaven, a set that's already showing us pretty high pre-order prices, with collector boosters being plus 20% from $290 to $350, and also commander decks being pretty high compared to other comparative products from recent sets, with individual commander decks going from 40 couple bucks to even 50 and 60 bucks, compared to 40 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not even 30 of both low-end decks, and also very close to 30-ish for Edge of Eternities. Now we see this set being X2 or X1.5 the prices. Now, no surprise there, because we've got proper bangers this set. And one of the cards from Commander deck specifically is Ominous Harvest, which I've already heard rumors from Eternal formats, Legacy, EDH, Competitive EDH, that this might really change the landscape, because how specific it is, unique effects, but also just very powerful in what it does. So Ominous Harvest, and also you cannot really get this outside of Commander decks. Now when it comes to the main set, there is also a very unique effect in Petrified Hamlet. And this card is already causing all sorts of rumors because of, again, all the formats really, because it stops cards like Boseiju, like Otawara, like Wasteland, because, people say, well, why would you play that in your Wasteland deck? Well, you might play this against Wasteland decks, like, for example, in Legacy lands strategies. And this card is unique enough that if it proves powerful, this might be one of the chase rares of the set. Now, depending on the print run, this might, keep the price at a reasonable level, or who knows, maybe skyrocket it. We will see the promo versions, like the foil ones, kind of full art ones, how they are going to show in price as well. But Ominous Harvest and Petrified Hamlet are two maybe highlights, although there are numerous more, both interesting designs and cards that are straight up powerful. In Commander decks alone, you've got the new cycle of Commander lands, which isn't full 10 for every color pair, and it's been already said that they will be printed in future sets, but for now, we will have just 5, and they will only be available in those Commander decks, but every Commander player will want them. So that's even more in the pool of playables there. And so this set is a very nice breath of fresh air. Even though we were very happy with Lorwyn, it was just a nostalgia trip with nothing of value coming through it. Now here, we've got the nostalgia, although not as much with Lorwyn, naturally, but we've got a in-universe set, a lot of flavor, something that fans want, favorite mechanics, and on top of that, we've got new cycle of lands for EDH, very exciting design, Gravestorm coming back, like, there is so much going on, and I think this set will be one of the better sets of MTG, especially in-universe, in recent months, and who knows, maybe in months to come, even though we've got, for example, Reality Fracture coming. I think this will be the highlight set of the year. Riftbound confirms its first six-figure sale, $100,000 for 1 out of 1 misfortune from RQ Houston, confirmed by Robert Riftbound Stanley on his own Twitter. And this is absolutely huge. This shows that the market for promos is there. It's very much alive, and it's alive for a very, very high-end, unique promos. Now, this is likely bought by another speculator or investor in the hopes of holding it for future. Now, as the game progresses and lives on, there will be more unique promos, although they will be unique, between each other, but does change the fact that there will be a pool of unique promos, so we'll see how that affects everything. But no, we've seen this with the One Ring, 1 out of 1, how crazy with the price it went. Now, the case is a bit different because there was a ton of marketing, a ton of hype using Lord of the Rings as a thing, and also it was literally 1 out of 1 completely. Now, here we've got Misfortune 1 out of 1, but it will change, with other 1 out of 1s. Now, crucially, and that's worth mentioning, this is not the first rodeo of Riftbound specifically when it comes to promos. What it normally does, it has got its best of promos, metal cards. So that's one of the actually bigger pools for players, because typically when you go to a tournament, you want to play the best deck possible, right? And let's say this is Kai'Sa or Draven. Now, the unique incentive for you not to play the unique card is that if you're the best player of a champion, and there are numerous champions to choose from, then you will be receiving a special promo that's worth pretty penny. And when I say pretty penny, I mean if you look at eBay right now, go metal promo, Riftbound, let's see, you can get money like, commander price of, $2,000, $3,000, $7,000 for a promo you can get at a relatively regular, bigger scale tournament, like, Grand Prix style, comparing it to Magic the Gathering. And that's purely because you place the best as some of the heroes. People play niche heroes, and, first of all, maybe in the hopes of being the only player playing the deck, but just trying to place high enough to just get the promo, which gives them much, much more than just the flight and an accommodation back. Now, that is a very interesting way to incentivize players to play different heroes. I mean, all of them, basically. And kind of, in a way, in a fake way, diversify the metagame, because you could argue that, normally it wouldn't have happened. The game isn't as diverse as the data seems to suggest because of this granularity of different heroes, because of the incentives. But then again, the outcome is that the meta is diverse because the incentives are indeed there. It's a very interesting model that I haven't seen in any other TCG, and it seems to be working here because people are brewing, and that brewing of niche heroes also leads to maybe some conclusions that you could apply to other more popular ones. And the threshold of getting that promo isn't that high, again, if there are, one or two players total playing that niche hero. So between the 1 out of 1, $100,000 promo, but also these, proper, 2, 3, 5, 7K promos you could get at regionals, like, this is absolutely crazy to me, and it shows that Riftbound is doing promos very well, absolutely very well. And then a casual or normal player who goes to a tournament and does reasonably well can get a pretty penny, which further kind of boosts the efforts. And people from different TCGs seem to be converting to Riftbound because the money is there, the value is there. You can compete in every TCG, but here you could theoretically take some niche deck you brewed up and go away from the tournament almost regardless of the result 3K richer, which is just unheard of. And so Riftbound seems to be doing it pretty well, and I'm really curious how this develops into the future. And tell us what you think. Are you excited for EBO3 dropping below €200? Are you excited for Strixhaven and its Commander and Collect boxes? Tell us what you think down below. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more Market Watch here on this channel.